Welcome to Listen to This if you are thinking of starting a side project.
Cheers. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Justine.
I'm Joe.
And for today's episode, listen to this if you want to start your own side project.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the two of us, it's been something that we've been doing. We go way back, right? We've started doing side projects since we were in uni.
Yeah.
We started a kind of like a consultancy venture where we help startups expand to Singapore and in other parts of APAC. And ever since then, it's something that we find very interesting. Like we've always loved doing side projects together.
Yeah.
It's a commonality in our friendship that we still do until now, like this channel. And I think that's the reason why we really wanted to talk more about side projects, about our experience in it, and how it's really like, in a sense.
Yeah, and also how it's like enriching our lives. So
Yeah.
maybe just to start off, what have you done so far and what's been your favorite?
Yeah, well, I mean, aside from this,
Yeah.
I've been very interested in storytelling, children's books. I'm writing one now. I'm doing cooking classes when I'm free also. So I'm meeting new people and like trying to teach them how to cook.
Yeah.
Doing what do you call it? It's something that we're working on together as well, which is something for dogs and dog owners, because as some of you may have known, I've become recently a fur mommy. Yeah. How about you? What side projects have you been working on like currently?
Okay, so like outside of this channel and the pet project that we hopefully will, get going, I am also learning how to code. So it's been something that I've like picked up time and time again, but haven't really like seen it through. So hopefully, like I get to a level where I can build like a prototype or like, a project. Yeah, I think it's more fun that way. For me, it also like means lower commitment. Like.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's hard to fail.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the reason why I prefer learning a language on my own as compared to like going to a school, like going like in uni or in school, right? You can take language lessons, but I feel the pressure of like, okay, I need to do so well in this exam rather than just enjoying the process. So now that I'm learning one, I feel like this is a lot more enjoyable than before. Yeah, but. Speaking of side projects, I mean, of course, the ideas would come to you, right? Like, oh, how would I start doing a side project? So, how do these ideas usually come to you?
Yeah, for me, I realized that like a lot of times ideas come to me from like the conversations that I have with my friends or the people I know or the people I meet at like events. That's like so far my main source of ideas, and it's really fun to kind of like bounce ideas off of people. Yeah. What about you?
I mean, same. I think that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Like we've always loved bouncing ideas off each other, and I think when it comes to that aspect, right, I realized that understanding what makes you feel happy while doing a project is probably something that you're very good at. Maybe like a strength that you may have not realized. And I think to me that's one of my strengths as well. I think I really thrive in an environment where I can work with people and I can really be creative about certain methodologies, like how I approach a particular issue or a particular challenge. I think that's something I really enjoy, and I think the fact that all these side project ideas come to me through that, being able to speak with people, being able to just brainstorm with each other and actually just doing it together, I think speaks a lot about what I really find most interesting. And I think apart from that, to me, I think it's before I sleep.
What happens before you sleep?
Nothing saucy.
Okay.
Nothing saucy.
Just before going to sleep, I just kind of think about something. Hey, actually, I want to do this, and I would just type it down on my phone, like my notes app. But the challenge about it is once I start thinking about it, once I start writing down on my phone, I just can't stop thinking about it. It just I can't sleep until like 3, 4, 5 a.m. and I wake up, the first thing I would think about is that I would just sit on my laptop and just start doing it. So I think it's unhealthy, but that's where I usually get my ideas from.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are really good ideas.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I think. Going back to what you said earlier around like how side projects can also help you kind of like understand like what is it that makes you feel happy like in life in general. I think for me, one of the key things that I've learned recently is also like how I do have a lot of interest, and like for example like within the scope of my job I can only use say like 5 skills out of 10 that I might have, and like being able to kind of like dabble in all these side projects that allows me to utilize like other skill sets as well is really fulfilling as well.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the
Yeah, and it's just kind of nice to see the output, right?
Yeah.
So to you, right, like doing a side project, does it have to make money?
No. I think for me, oftentimes I also know that I'm probably gonna lose money if anything from
Lose
doing
money
like,
or just don't get anything
yeah, or
at
I
all?
don't get anything from the side project. So it's mostly for fun.
Yeah,
and
same.
Yeah, it's mostly for
Mostly
fun.
for fun. Like it's just something that we like doing. But I guess to me, I don't know about you, but I kind of gravitate towards just thinking steps further ahead and like, oh, how can I grow this project? Like if I'm, let's say for example, doing cooking lessons, how can I grow my cooking lessons, right? And I think, let's say for example, a children's book, how can I grow that to a point where kids from different schools can read it. Part of that growth is also about maybe the potential of commercializing it, or you know, but it's not really that goal that I have in mind. I think you too, right? But it's more of like I gravitate towards the growth aspect of it. How can I grow my project? How can we scale it? And as you know, growth and scalability comes with the benefit of potentially making money, right?
Actually, like, what's the next question? So, for you, you know, like as someone who's done many side projects, like, what do you find more difficult? Is it like starting a project, or is it like continuing a project and seeing it through to the end?
I think to me it's a little bit of both, and I'm saying both because from a starting a side project point of view, I think I've kind of been a little bit of a perfectionist where I want things to be all settled before I actually start doing it, or before I actually take action. And also I think part of it is also going to business school where my mind is conditioned to, okay, I need to have the right framework, the right plan, the right, you know, all the things that is listed and figured out before I take action. So it kind of translated to how I think. So now I don't think that's very healthy for me because I put a lot of pressure on it. So I try to be a little bit more reiterative in the process, in a sense that, okay, like, just start something. The second part of it is also continuing because I think partly because of the whole perfectionist thing, which is as you go through the whole process, you'd realize that, hey, actually I could improve this part, or I could make this slightly, you know, slightly different. And I think my mind is like, oh, because of this, maybe it's not working. Maybe this project is not going to be as successful as I thought it would be. So let's skip it out. But actually, no, it's part of the whole process. Is what I realized. You know, it's part of the growth. It's part of, as you go through your side project, you realize that there's a lot of things that you can improve on. And I think it's a good thing, and it doesn't really exactly mean that you've already failed, or maybe it's not working anymore. How about you? To you, like, which one is more difficult?
Yeah, for me, continuing is more difficult because I'm very impulsive, and I find it easier to get started on something because it's usually when I get the most excited as well, like when that idea first comes to me, and I want to get started right away. And that's like what usually happens to me. But like continuing with a side project is a whole different story. Like my parents also point out to me that like I have issues with like, you know, like seeing things through. And I agree, but I feel like side projects especially is like a space where I don't have to commit myself to anything.
Yeah.
And I can do it for, the fun of it. And it doesn't have to be like for the principle of like finishing what
Yeah.
you start,
Yeah.
I do want to go back to what you said before as well, like about the perfectionist like mindset and like how that made it difficult for you to like get started
Yeah.
on something. So like what actually changed? Like how did you flip the switch and like see things a little bit differently?
I think I've accepted that I will never get it right the
Okay.
first try.
Yeah,
I think
it's hard to get it right.
Yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
to get it right. I think nobody gets it right the first
Yeah.
try. So I think I've just simply accepted that
Mm.
and didn't really put a lot of pressure on it. Like if say for example I'm learning something new, like doesn't really matter. Let's just learn just because you love it. I think that's why I suddenly started thinking, hey, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect at one go.
Yeah.
I can just incrementally improve from there, and if
Mhm.
the fun of it is gone, then so be it. Then that means that's the end of it. But I don't know, maybe I'm kind of slowly trying to not be like I choose very carefully on what projects I really want to die it out. Is
Mhm.
it because is it because I'm discouraged that it's not gonna go anywhere, but I'm actually still excited about it, or really just okay, like I'm not having fun at all anymore? Because if it's the latter, then I think I would let it go. But if it's the former, I would think twice.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, because you did mention like your family, right? You think
Yeah.
they would say, oh, like maybe you have the habit of not seeing things through. Is there anyone who encouraged you or discouraged you
Yeah.
every time you try to pursue a side project?
I think my parents generally are quite supportive. Like
Mm-hmm.
every time I wanna experiment with like my ideas and like
Mhm.
start side projects and stuff like that, but they wouldn't really go out of their way to like do it. Like here's like
Yeah.
the money or like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
Oh my
not-
god, that would be so
like,
fun.
yeah, that
though.
would be so good. But yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with the general support that I
Yeah.
do get. At least like they share kind of
Yeah.
like the enthusiasm,
Right.
or like they see value in like me dabbling in all
Yeah.
these things.
I'm curious. Let's say, for example, you tell someone, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And this person tells you, I don't think it's a good idea. I think you
Yeah.
shouldn't do it.
Mhm.
What would you do?
Oh, okay. My reaction would, well, it depends on like how invested in the idea I am as well. But I think it's hard to not take that personally, especially when it's like someone close
Yeah.
to you, or
Okay.
like friends and family.
Okay.
Like I usually have, at least I would feel annoyed.
I mean, it's the reality.
Yeah,
of it, I
yeah,
guess.
but I mean, I will also kind of like just take the feedback, like, okay, why do you think that's the case? But at the end of the day, if I'm serious about that idea, I don't usually let that hinder me, because I know that like probably when you start a project, like what you need the most is that energy and the enthusiasm to like keep going, keep trying.
Yeah.
And like while all the critical feedback is definitely necessary, like if it's gonna take away that momentum and
Yeah.
the positive energy,
Yeah.
I feel like I can revisit the feedback
Yeah.
at a later stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think same. But what I noticed is that, like when people, let's say for example, when people come to me like, oh, I want to do this, or
Yeah.
if I go to people, right, oh, I want to do this too, like. I think maybe what comes off as criticism is maybe just kind of like, oh, like maybe this could be slightly better, right?
Mhm.
So what I often see as people, like what I often see that works, right, is when people ask, oh yeah, that's great, but how about like, how about we add this, or how about
Yeah.
we do it in this way? But I think
Yeah.
the enthusiasm and energy is the very key thing here,
Mm.
because people who talk about side projects and things that they want to start is because they're much looking forward to it, right?
Yeah.
And I think killing off that energy is that doesn't vibe at all. But
Yeah.
you know, so maybe to me I would take it slightly personally, but if it's really something that I do care about,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just maybe brush it off, I guess.
Mm.
But I would find people that would be very energetic about it also, and would really make me excited and
Yeah.
maybe give me some really good feedback also lah. But yeah, I think that is the kind of people that I would love to hang out with and share my ideas with.
Yeah. So I guess like if you're a viewer and someone comes to you with their side project ideas, like one of the best things that you can do to them is like frame things as like what you said. What about
Yeah.
we think about this, or like we do this,
Yeah.
or like
Hey, you know, like, oh yeah, this is very good. Like
yeah.
we could add this too, you know, like, oh, how about we like in the future we could do
Yeah.
something. It's like, I don't know, like take it as a fun mind exercise.
Building on
also.
top of
Yeah.
their ideas is always like better than kind of like taking away from it
Yeah.
in a way.
So I think that's it
Yeah.
for today's episode. So let us know if you are starting a new one, or
Yes.
if you are already having your own side projects. Let us know. Maybe it's something we can, you know,
Yeah. Or leave that
Hear
in
from-
the
yeah.
comment section.
Yeah.
And let us know.
let us know.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much, and see you on the next episode.
See ya.